husband sold the house with his wife in it. Later he was surprised to see her at a restaurant, where she reveals the unthinkable. The wife was astonished to hear that her husband had sold the house with her. Locked within, she waited for her life to end. Even the man expected his wife to pass away soon. Later, the husband was taken aback when he saw her at the restaurant, and then the miraculous truth was revealed. Brandon was excited and kept staring at his watch, waiting for his office hours to end. Finally, he was set to buy a luxurious property at a low cost, allowing him to create a family with his fiancée. Meanwhile, Henry, the house's owner, waited eagerly for Brandon with the papers in hand. The workday was ended, and the man hurried to meet with the owner of the property he wanted. Before signing the papers, the buyer asked, "I've been worried about something this whole time. Why is the price of this house 3 times lower than market price?" Henry looked surprised for a moment, but then explained that he was moving and needed to sell the house quickly. Brandon was satisfied with the explanation, so he reviewed the documents and signed them promptly. The next day, he transferred the full amount to the mansion's owner and considered the deal done. It was a festive occasion, so Brandon went to the market and bought a bottle of nice wine, as well as a box of chocolates and other things for his girlfriend Kelly. After entering the house, the man liked the big living room, which included a fireplace and a massive chandelier over his head. The new owner was 35 years old and still lived in a cheap motel. Now, he had his own home. Brandon intended to establish a family with his fiancée Kelly, but he needed to convince her first. Kelly wasn't ready to marry and have children yet, but her fiancé was confident that once she saw the new house, she would definitely consider it. Meanwhile, Brandon was going to spend some alone time in the house and take a tour. He moved from room to room until he reached the second level, where renovations had recently been completed. As the new owner walked by the half-opened bedroom, he heard a muffled murmur. He froze and slowly began walking toward the door, then glanced inside and was taken aback. In the bedroom, there was a thin and pale woman lying on the floor. Brandon noticed her clothes and guessed she lived there. Suddenly, he understood why the house was priced so low, wondering if there were more secrets hidden inside. The 35-year-old man gently lifted the woman onto the bed. She asked who he was and what he was doing in her house. Brandon explained he was the new owner now. The woman started crying, shocked that her husband had sold the mansion without her knowing. Brandon felt uneasy, realizing he might have been tricked by a fraudster. "But how did your signature end up on the sales documents?" Brandon asked, surprised. At first, Henry did everything he could help his wife, including taking her to medical centers and providing her with all necessary medications. All of Mary's doctors, or oncologists, agreed that she had a strong chance of recovery. However, the woman needed expensive surgery to recover, which caused an issue. The husband refused to spend so much money on his wife and forcibly locked her inside the house. Henry soon found a new girlfriend, and together they came up with the plan to sell the house, thinking that Mary would soon pass away. The first thing Brandon did after hearing the sick woman's horrifying story was call the cunning businessman Henry, demanding an explanation. He accused the former owner of the house of fraud, but Henry turned out to be a tough nut to crack. He said, "The price of the house is at least 3 times below market rate, and as for the woman in the bedroom, she will pass away soon, so you won't have any problems with it," and then disconnected the call. Brandon felt responsible for the woman and decided to help her out, and the first thing he did was pay for the surgery. Gradually, he got attracted to Mary, and even put his new house on mortgage and sold his car. The man broke up with Kelly and started spending more time with his new